setting trends. Wage word of the day. Uncontained, making space, cultivating grace. Yeah. Filling space, converging minds on the same page. Every day, every way. Word of the day. Word of the day. Conversation.
And what is going on, everybody? What is going on? You know what it is. It's Wade's Word of the Day. And I'm so grateful and thankful to be hanging out with each and every one of you. Come on. Big it up tonight, big it up tonight, big it up tonight. I need you to go ahead and share this on all of your socials. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and share it out. If you're on the Facebook side, you can do that as well in all of your spaces. Remember, you know, the work that we do in these spaces is supporter sponsored. So make sure, you know, that, you know, give a little bit. You put some on it tonight to help us to continue to do what we do. Because the reality is, if you don't put some on it, we won't continue. We won't be able to continue to do what we do. This right there on the ticker, some various ways that you can support everything that we're doing. How many of you all are excited about Wellness Wednesday? I got my co-host with us here tonight, Leanna Winstead, and all of that good stuff. And so while you are tagging, texting, and sharing in all of your social spaces, go ahead and check out some of this swag.
Here we go. Are you getting up or getting down? Somebody say hello, feel is home. You know how we do it in this space. We try to get our healing. Hey, it's Wade's Word of the Day. Wade's Word of the Day. Wade's Word of the Day. Wade's Word of the Day.
Yeah, it's Wade's Word of the Day. And we call this Wellness Wednesday. What up? I got my sister
How you
in
doing?
the space, Leanna Winstead. Come on, everybody, big her up tonight. I said, everybody, big her up tonight. Come on, I know you can do better than that. Come on, say hello down there in the comment section and all of that good stuff. Everybody, if you don't mind, just go ahead and drop in the comment section. What up, Leanna? What up? Yeah, go ahead and do that tonight. Man. I'm excited to be here. How about you, Leanna?
I am absolutely excited to be here.
Me too. I think we're going to have a good show tonight and everything like this. Listen, I created something new for Wellness Wednesday. And listen, I'm sensitive about my stuff. So y'all let me know if you're feeling it. Here we go. Yeah. Say, "What?" Yeah. Oh my God.
I like
Yeah,
that. I
I'm
love the
doing that
song and everything.
Wellness Wednesday little chant and all of that good stuff. Because that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get you in your exceedingly abundantly place, right? Mentally,
That's it.
physically, and in fact, spiritually. So, Lynn, go ahead and talk to the people, man. I'm gonna get out the way for a second. Tell them what's on your heart, what's on your mind, what you want to share today. Go ahead, do your
Uh,
thing.
well, thank you for having me in the space. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. I hope you made it. Without too many lumps and bruises, because tomorrow you got to get up and do it again anyway. So I want to encourage you. Glad you're spending a little bit of time with us tonight. Let's exchange some good energy. What's going on? That's all I got.
Definitely, definitely. We want to exchange some good energy and everything like that. And we figured, as a part of, one of the new things I've been doing here, and it's a part of getting well. I don't know if you've ever seen, uh, watched a movie or it's this kind of what happens sometimes when you pull away, you're in a tense moment, you step outside, and in the movie that person steps outside and they just scream
Yeah.
or they find a bag or something, paper bag, and they put their face into it and they just scream into it. And the suggestion is, that they want to get something off of their chest, if you will, or remove some of the tenseness or the tension that they're experiencing in the moment. And so sometimes, as a part of wellness, you have to learn how to find a way to express it. And we just kind of call that, I need to get it off my chest. Yeah, I need to get it off my chest tonight. So I don't know. Maybe you got some things you need to get off your chest tonight. Those of you who have checked in with us, go ahead and drop it in the comments section. And we're going to talk a little bit about some things we need to get off of our chest. Leanna, what you need to get off your chest?
I think I'm in a really good place right now. I've been trying to think about it. I don't have anything to get off my chest. I do always have something to say about it, a perspective on it, but I'm in a really good place.
So, what does that mean? Tell us about that. Okay,
It means
okay.
I've
Here we
created.
go. See, I need to get it off my chest. I get tired every time I ask somebody a question. I got to keep on explaining to them how to answer the question. I just needed to get that off of my chest. You talking, Wade? Oh yeah, you talking, Wade?
Okay. I done lost my whole train of thought. I wasn't ready for that. Um, I just think that for me, I've created boundaries. Um, I just think that there are steps to it. We often tell people not to do something or how to not navigate. But even in the fact of understanding that everybody's at a different place, we still have to create boundaries and allow people to get there. Or, you know, we have to exercise for me when it comes to just blowing off steam, popping off, because I've been that hothead. So in my wellness and in my Zen, I try to exercise emotional maturity. And I think that has a big thing to do with it. Understanding that when you know, allow the frustration to sit and seep, or did I go too far off? I
No,
see
no,
you
no.
need glasses.
I'm listening. I'm listening. See, I don't consider in this space there to be any particular right or wrong answer when we're talking about wellness. So what I'm doing, I'm listening to discover, to understand, and then I also have questions, right? So
Yeah.
so so just listening to you and everything, I agree totally with everything that you said. But I am wondering kind of what we're talking about. I got to get something off of my chest, the difference of like stepping outside and exhaling, whatever that may be, versus how you defined it as popping off. Is there a difference? Because when I tend to think about popping off, I tend to think of that within the context of engaging or
Yeah.
or engaging somebody in a level of frustration that I might have. You know, typically when I think about uh, kind of the joke of this is kind of like it's a level of frustration, but you're just talking it out kind of like in a joking manner, but it's allowing you to express it without kind of being confrontational, if that makes
Yeah.
right.
Which
So
is,
is
I
it
think,
levels to that? I guess I'm trying to get some understanding, or as you see it, you know, because I do see it as a difference, you know, because there's one thing like if me and you are being challenged by whatever it is, right? And I
yeah,
agree with you. Back in the day, before I had a level of maturity, yeah, you know, I'm going to try to address everything. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
sometimes in my addressing it, you know, you come off in your humanity, you know, to say the least. But I think now when I think about like stating like, hey man, I need to get something up, it's more about a release versus uh it's about more it's more about a release, vocalizing a release or level of frustration more than just kind of addressing a particular person.
yeah.
If that makes sense. What's your thoughts on that? Or how do you see it?
Stepping away or taking a beat, I think that's always been efficient until you can understand or until you count back from 100 10 times, whatever you need to do in that situation. I 110% agree. But even in that, realizing the frustration and the level of intensity, if there is one, I
Mhm.
understand I think what you're trying to say is you're saying it before. Let me get this off my chest. Those are absolutely beneficial, but we still have
Yeah.
to understand how we got there.
Yeah. I think actually I'm talking about while I'm in it and trying to get out of it. You know what I mean? Not necessarily trying to catch it before. So oftentimes when I think about something that I need to get off of my chest, it's been either lingering there a little while, follow what I'm saying? Or I've
Yeah.
been feeling it a little while. And sometimes it could just be, you know, my little um levels of frustration that don't even mean nothing. Like last
Yeah.
week I talked about, you know, it get frustrating sometimes when you're trying to watch a movie and right when the movie getting good, somebody want to ask a question or the answer, everything like
That's
that. You
me.
know, that type of thing. And so I don't think um in this particular type of expression that it has to be too deep. Sometimes it can be too deep, but sometimes it can just be an opportunity for you to move beyond, you know, your level of pettiness or for you
True.
to move beyond your level of kind of those little things that just kind of irk you, you know, the unwritten things that you never really express, but when they happen, it's kind of like, you know, nails across the chalkboard to you. Nobody else can kind of sense it, but you're like, you know what I mean? That type of
Yeah.
thing. I think Shakira said um, she gets she needs to get it off her chest. She's sick of her coworkers of mine and everybody else's business, but they own.
That is a given.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that
That is
happens, and
one that's right up there on the top of the list.
yeah, I think that definitely you know that has a way of showing up in spaces unexpectedly. You know what I mean? It really does. It really does. So So what else? You said you're in a good place. Tell us about that. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? And what does a good space and good place look like to you?
I'm enjoying my day. I am not in
Mhm.
a rush. I am enjoying the conversations because I run into some of the most extremely different people, but I get something from each of them. But I love when they come back to me. Like I have a core group of patients that are just wonderful and they don't play when it comes to me. And so I love that. I love being able to, even if just for a minute, 5 minutes, speaking good things to them and understanding and getting something out of their conversation too. I super love my job. Um, and again, I'm just happy. Like I'm good. I'm at ease. I'm at peace. I'm
Mhm.
sleeping good.
Mhm.
You know, I'm just doing
So
good.
you,
I
so,
did some
so,
work. I had to do some work, but I'm here.
yeah, so you finding the the satisfaction, the level of satisfaction in your occupation, right?
Yeah,
Right. And is that the work function, or is it? It sounds more to me, the joy is coming from the relationships, not necessarily. The functions are the functions, but it
yeah,
sounds like, as you're explaining it, you're finding a level of peace and serenity in the relationship building that is happening, right?
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And you said like some of your patients. What do you mean by that? Is these are folk you see who come into the space on a regular?
Yeah, they come into the space on the regular. And they value my opinion, but we have really good conversations. And again, um, 5 minutes is all it takes, but I feel like I'm super good at what I do. And so I've built quite a few, especially being an implant here. I'm not natively from here. And that's
Mm.
something that they pick up on immediately, just in my vernacular. And then I start talking to them. I start talking junk about the Cowboys, and then they love me forever after that.
The Cowboys. What does that mean?
The
Cow.
Cowboys. It's crazy how many diehard Cowboy fans are down here, and I take every opportunity to poke fun at them.
See, we got to get off now. See, you trying to poke the bear because I am a diehard
I know,
Dallas Cowboys fan.
I
Yeah,
know.
we
I'm
still them
sorry for
boys.
you.
We still them boys. If I had time, I would download the song. We still them boys. We still them boys. And this is our year. It's crazy. It's crazy. Even when you think about it, right? Just how I just communicated that, how we try to live through them as if we kind of know them, that they live right around the corner,
Right.
that we invest so much kind of in people that we really don't know, a franchise that we really don't know, a team that we
Yes.
really don't know. And sometimes I look at that and I'm like, yo, that's crazy. But I guess it's the human experience, right? It's the human experience.
Or that's what they're telling us. That's what the human experience is. And so, yeah, I
Yeah,
110% agree.
yeah, yeah. No, I think we all, right, wrong, or indifferent, I think we all want to belong or belong to something or to be a part of
Yeah.
something. I personally think that's a good thing. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I don't believe that we're created to move in isolation or um, I just don't believe that. So I think that relationships. That's why I hit on the relationship is part as it relates to you. I think that we were created for relationships, and to not operate in silos of simple individualism. I just don't believe that's what we've been called to do. And so for me, um, I think for me, um, that's very important in this season of my life. You know, it really is. I think I'm at a space and a place where I really want to have authentic relationships and whatever that looks like, right? And whatever that looks like. Um, I don't want to be operating in fake and phony. So I think it's important. I do believe um, that we were called to walk out journeys in spaces together, not just simply I'm on a journey of existence all by myself, because life isn't even walked out like that. Certainly, there are moments when when we find ourselves in isolation, but we're not meant to stay in isolation. And so I think that's the main thing that's driving me in this moment and in this season of my life, trying to get people to understand, in spite of everything that we've been heard over the last 25 years, specifically around this kind of individualistic kind of mindset and approach. I think that has become the detriment of our society because everybody now is operating as lone wolves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Batman had Robin. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think that's what's really driving me in the season to really authentic cultivate authentic relationships in whatever form that looks like, and to walk out journeys together, and not just simply, I'm trying to get someplace, but I want us to get someplace. And I think the older you get, um, the more you recognize the fallacy of climbing a mountain to only reach a goal and discover there's nobody there with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
For sure.
so I think, as I was asking about, the job is becoming, or your occupation is, you you're reaping the reward of it because you're cultivating those relationships, whether it's
Yeah.
5 minutes, whether it's 10 minutes, but that's enhancing the work
Yeah.
versus, um, just the work in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
What would you say to that? I went
I'd
on.
say it makes my day less
A-
mundane.
Yeah.
Um, just because of some of the, and I don't even, I don't always know ahead of time who's coming or whatever, but there's a lot of perks to it. But for me, the main part is when exchanging good energy with a patient, or I can solve their issue or something like that. I just think that's my thing. And I didn't know it. I had no idea because I was in an entirely different way. But yeah, I agree with everything that you said, and especially the part about the isolation and the individualism. But also, um, as it regards to wellness, we also have to check in with ourselves too, because sometimes, even though um, we can be tired, but we don't realize it, or we're not even ready to admit it, and that can pose some frustrations. I think that what I'm trying to get people to understand is it's okay to check in with you, because a lot of times we get so busy and we don't. It is not selfish of you. It is always good, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, but whatever you find, clean up that space so that tomorrow could be better. And that's literally how I approach it. I try to get things. I've always been good people, but I've always
Yeah.
also been misunderstood too. So you know what I mean?
No,
And
no, I
no,
get that. Yeah, I get that. See, everything that you just said, I agree. I agree with you. So I'm certainly not against people, because I think what I say in this space a lot, the hard work is the hard work. And so a part of that hard work is really being clear about who you are, so that when you show up in these spaces, when you're cultivating, that's why I keep on using the term authentic relationships, right? In other words, I am in tune with who I'm trying to be, and or being, if you will, um, as I'm exercising, all of these different strategies. I'm rediscovering or learning who I've always been, kind of, if I can say it like that, right? But now that allows me to show up in spaces in an authentic way, right? And so that's what I mean. I'm trying to cultivate authentic relationships, and a part of authentic relationships is showing up as you, in whatever capacity that looks like in the moment. And sometimes, to your point, yeah, there is these pulling away that needs to happen to check in. But again, I think what we do now is we pull away to stay away, and that's what I'm trying to challenge people to recognize. Yes, yes, there are moments when you have to fall back, when you have to pull away to, um, you know, figure out who you are. Um, but sometimes we use that as an excuse not to engage, or to re-engage, or to redevelop, or as a or as a shield to be in your authentic self, in your vulnerable space. And I don't think that you can cultivate authentic relationships without people showing up in their true self. And so if we're always falling away to try to find this level of perfection of who we are, then to me, I feel like you missed the whole point of relationships, because no relationship on any level is ever going to be perfect because you're dealing with imperfect people. And so if you're striving, as we hear a lot of, you know, I'm I'm trying to be, the best or whatever that I can be, to me, that's a how do I want to say it? Because we'll never reach that or attain that level of perfection that we're told that we need to be, um, because we're all imperfect beings. And so to me, the best relationships are when people show up as they are and people receive them as they are, as we are all desiring to grow and to change and to be our best selves per se, right? But if you start off with the lens of I'm not trying to show up as who I authentically is, I'm trying to show up as who you want me to be, then that leads to isolation, individualism, and all of these kind of toxic things that kind of go down and happen. Or at least
So
that's
in
my
that,
take.
because I mean, just understanding our community, in that, who determines the authenticity of said person showing up? If you know what I'm saying, who determines that? How do we know? How do we tap into that for sure? Are we creating space for people now, especially now after everything that's happened over the past few years? Are we creating space for people to be able to literally trust and rely on showing up and being authentic?
Well, I think that's the point. I think that's the point. Anything, you know, I, even when I think about love, right? Here's the reality about love. Um, People who you really don't care about really don't really have the capacity to hurt you. The people who really hurt you are the people that you love, right? That you have a keen awareness. So if I'm really going to love and embrace love, then I have to understand that what comes with that is the possibility of hurt or betrayal. But I can't really experience authentic and true love, without understanding. I don't want that. That is not my expectation, but I have to be real about that, right? I have to be real about that. That to really love, that always comes with the possibility of betrayal. Because who I really love, they only have they are the ones who really only have the opportunity to really hurt me, right? So if I go into trying to cultivate authentic relationships, but I'm always trying to prevent hurt and pain, then what do I end up doing? I end up not showing up in my authentic self or my most authentic self because I'm trying to prevent that from happening. And so what we end up doing is developing relationships that are not true. They're fly by night. They're because we're all showing up in our mask. And so to your point, you can only get to the place of cultivating those type of spaces and everything if you set up spaces where people are free to grow and to learn and to glow, while also understanding there's going to be times when I ain't got no glow in me. But can I show up, can I show up in my hurt? Can I show up in my pain? Can I show up when everything is not where it needs to be? And can I be accepted in that moment? Versus what tends to happen, people just want you to show up, and then we start talking this kind of stuff. Oh, I don't got time for that drama and this, that, and the third, and all of that. Simply because we don't really want to experience authentic relationships and what it takes to really build and what it takes to really grow together. If that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Does that make
Sure.
sense?
Those are the people that we're talking about. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so,
yes,
and,
and
and
yes.
so I'm saying all this with a recognition that everybody don't want that. But I'm
That
simply
part of it.
saying, because you asked me, I'm simply saying that's what I'm trying to cultivate. I really don't want to be in spaces where people don't want to be authentic, who still want to kind of just simply be churchy, who still have no tolerance for understanding. I was just in a conversation with somebody the other day. I said one of the things and I think I preached through it a little bit this Sunday, where I was saying to cultivate some of this. I gave the three things I said you need to understand that none of these relationships will be perfect. Number two, I said you have to develop a level of patience. And what I mean by that is just because you've come to a place of awareness, like you're moving in your wellness place and you're enjoying life and all of these particular things, but also having a recognition that maybe some of the people you're trying to reach um, are not where you are, but you have to recognize through patience that I once was them. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? And so what happens oftentimes is we get to a level or we're developing new strategies and we're cultivating and we're finding, ourselves, and then we have a lack of patience with those who are not necessarily there any longer, failing to realize we too thought like that. We too were boxed in. We too um, couldn't paint outside the lines. We too were not willing to evolve and to change and to listen and to grow. You follow what I'm saying? And so what tends to happen, oftentimes people get to a place of where they feel like, oh, I'm really saved. But then they forget the very person that they're pointing their finger at now, or they're trying to separate themselves from, that you was that person. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and so So that's what I mean about cultivating those spaces while understanding, hey, I'm getting to a new place, receiving a new place. I still got to be open and be patient with the ones who are not there yet to make room for them to get to a place if they desire to get to that place,
Yeah.
versus what we tend to do is separate instead of recognizing, hey, I used to be that person. And
Yeah.
that's really where I am today. And a lot of people, you know, are struggling with me because a lot of people don't give as you start to cultivate and create authentic relationships, a lot of people don't make room for your change. I'm talking tonight.
Oh yeah, you
I
talking.
agree.
Go ahead.
You understand what I'm saying? They don't make
I do.
room. They don't make room for your change because they have long saw you someplace else in another light, and they don't give you room to grow. Right? I was just in a session with some folk today, and I was saying, okay, how old are you? And they gave me the age, and I said, okay, in 10 years, you do recognize that this person is going to change, is going to evolve, is going to grow. Can you embrace that new thing that is happening with them as they grow, or will you yet be saying, well, that's the way I found you, that's the way I always want you to be? And too often authentic relationships break down because this is how you found me, but this is no longer how I am. I've grown, I've changed, I've discovered some things. I see things a little differently through experience, right? Through
Yeah.
circumstances, through my own challenges. And so some of the things that I may have been so stringent on before, maybe not as stringent any longer. You know what I mean? And so that patience now, as I've gotten here now, I gotta have patience to look back and say, that's where I was. And you gotta make room for folk to come to that place of awareness if they choose to, if they want to. And I went on long. So I'm gonna
No, no,
let you
no. I
explain.
was fully engaged. I was fully engaged. I'm listening. I hear you. But would you ever consider a different perspective? Or once your mind is made up, is your mind just made up on what you think it is and then you just move accordingly? Do you
No,
ever
I think I
consider
think I
a
think that's
different
what I'm
perspective?
saying. I think there's always different perspectives. I think that's what I'm saying. That's about
But do
growing and
you
learning.
consider any of them?
Yeah, yeah.
Or just yours?
I always consider different perspectives. I don't where I think I always consider different perspectives. And I think we all do. And I think that's the challenge of building into authentic. But that also, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example of where people, or as I see it in terms of growth. So if you ask me a question, right, really, as you're asking me that question, the thing that I'm thinking in my mind is, do you really want my answer?
Yeah.
Right? Do you really want my answer with an understanding of my answer may not be your answer? And if my answer is not your answer, are you cool with my answer? You understand what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so that would be the same thing as we're having this conversation. I think I said to you quite often, I'm not expecting you to always have my answer because your answer is your answer, right? So that's an openness to accept your perspective and recognizing that your answer doesn't have to be my answer, but this is in fact my answer in this moment. And can you be cool with that? And I think where we get bottled down sometime is believing that on to have authentic relationships that on all levels at all things we have to be in this kind of agreement, and I disagree as it relates
For
to that. So
sure.
I'm open to hear what you're saying. I'm clear about that's your perspective, and I'm cool with that. But if you ask me my perspective, this is my perspective. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but it's my perspective, if that
I
makes
got you.
sense. Yeah.
I'm with you. I
Yeah.
am in lockstep.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think,
Yep.
and that's what I mean about cultivating that because there you have to have that understanding, and then yeah, cultivating that, and then just understanding that authentic does not mean uniformity; it means unity, right? And that's what I want to be involved in. And so when you asked the question earlier, who determines what is authentic? I think those who enter into relationship
Yeah.
determine determine that.
But we live in such a quick, I'm talking about current day for real. We live in such a quick to judge. You know what I'm saying? Well, you ain't like my answer anyway, and we put things on it. We have to stop that even kind of thinking in order to enter in those type of relationships. I just wanted to add that two little cents right
See, I I agree with you. I think that's
there. Oh, I know
you
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 do. That's
you
what I'm
took the
saying.
short
I was just
version, but I
touching and
think I
agreeing.
took you took the short version. I think I took the long version, but I think we said the same thing. You're right. That's the point
Yeah.
that I'm making. That people can't
Yeah. I
show
just
up in
wanted to
their
add my
authentic
2 cents.
self. Yeah, yeah. I think we're saying the same thing. If I'm hearing you correctly, oftentimes people can't show up in their authentic self because those who they show up, if they show up in their authentic self, somebody on the other side is quick and ready to judge them in that moment.
Yeah.
That's the point that I'm making. That if we ought to show up in our authentic self, we have to be able to receive that person as that person is, and then try to build and grow out of that through discovery, through conversation, through engagement, where we get
Yeah.
to where we can, in fact, be our truest selves to one another, and that's what I mean
Yeah.
by that. I don't just want to be engaging for the sake of debate, and I don't want to be you know engaging. Um, I use this analogy all the time. How can you say, because we use it a lot, right? In our context sometimes. I love you, especially if you go to the same church. I love you. I love you. But if the only time that I see you is on Sunday, how can that be true? You
I'm
understand
guilty
what
of
I'm
that.
saying?
Hmm.
Huh?
I said I'm guilty of that. It took me a
So,
long time because, again, like you had said from the beginning, I really never felt like I belonged. So it took me a long time to even engage. And there were a lot of things that, you know, as community was going on, that I was super reluctant to. But again, that was because of me, not because of anything individual. You know what I'm
right,
saying? So, you know,
right, right.
but
No, I
yeah, that
agree.
was me.
That's the point, right? So, how can I really say that I love you if the only time that I've spent with you is 2 hours on Sunday, and most of the time there is no conversation amongst us in a real way. We just dance and shouting and running and shouting and all of that kind of stuff. And we saying that because that's what we think we're supposed to say.
Right.
But outside of that, there is no trying to connect, you know, trying to get together outside of my sense of my own clique, that type of stuff. So that's just an example that sometimes we talk through something and it's not authentic, but it sounds like the right thing to say.
The
You
ladies
understand what
at LHBC won't let you be by yourself too much. Somebody coming to take you out to eat or something to figure out what's going on with you. So I love that about them.
what does Shakira say? She says, I think what happens is we are fearful that people won't like who our authentic self is. I agree. So we kind of like fake the funk because we don't want to face our own
Yeah,
insecurities. I agree.
yeah. And
I
it's
agree. That's
easier.
the challenge of building. That's the challenge of relationships in a nutshell. I mean, I would agree 100%. You're nodding your head, so I assume you agree too.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So we have been on here. We need to get on up out of here. Give some final words, and we will get on up out of here.
To anybody who's listening, I think you're super dope. And I really do mean it. I hope that you have an restful weekend because it's a long weekend this weekend. And that's it. Have a great day tomorrow. Stay safe. That's it.
Is it a long weekend? I wasn't sure
Yeah.
if we had Monday off, but apparently we do.
We have Monday off. Yes.
That's big up. Listen, I gotta tell you, I was, thinking about that. It just popped on my head. I need to get this off my chest.
Oh, goodness.
And there was one holiday. I got the holidays. My mom called me. She was like, "Y'all got tomorrow off and all of that stuff." I was like, "No, I don't think I got tomorrow off or whatever." And then Babe was like, we got tomorrow off or whatever." And I was like, "We do." So I go on the internet. I'm like, "Yeah, we do." We do. And so, and I'm out just kicking it. We taking rides and all of that stuff. And I get a call like, "Hey, I don't see you. I don't see you online. Where you at?" I'm like, "What you talking about? We got the day off." It was like,
Not
"No, that
you.
was a state holiday. That ain't our holiday."
Oh, wow.
I was like, "My bad." So now I'm very cautious when I be hearing people like, "Oh, it's a long weekend." I'll be like, "Yo, let me check first. Let me check first."
No,
Yeah,
from me
I
to
was,
you, we have Monday off.
yeah. I was straight kicking it. I was like, "Woo."
I think we have the same company, right? We work for the same
I
company,
was
right?
like, I was enjoying it. I got that little call like, "Yo, what's up?" I'm like, "What you think?" Like, "Yo, you supposed to be behind this keyboard and whatever." I was like, "Huh?" And I was like, "My bad." I was just
For
like
real.
that.
So did you end up
Just
taking
like,
the rest of the day off, or did you jump on?
no, it was already too far gone. It was already too far gone. Yeah.
I'm
I was
outside.
in that I was on that, on that, I was I was over halfway. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm
Oh,
saying? If they'd
yeah.
have caught me earlier, maybe we'd have had a different discussion. But by that time I was just like, yo,
Yes. Sorry, not sorry.
I was like, wow. I was like, wow. All right, let's get out of here. I got some yeah, I needed to get that off my chest. Yeah.
Say what?
So let's go out this way. Play this nice little jam that I discovered. Y'all let me know if you're feeling it. Here we go.
But I try anything that could bring you back. So I'll find a new religion and make someone somewhere answer my prayer. Just so you will listen, I find a new religion. Deliver text and my missed calls. My mom says you're gone, new man and new home. Don't believe her. There's still something between us. So I walk to the altar. I told the preacher I'm fine. I don't need much time, just one thing. Oh, can you tell the Lord I need her? Oh, 'cause baby, I'm all alone. Oh yeah.
And we need to get out of here. Y'all know what it is. It's Wade Word of the Day. We're here every Monday Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Make sure that you share it on all of your socials. And if you don't mind, go ahead and put something on it. And what we think is supporter sponsored. So as long as you support, each and every one of you. We'll drop you on the ticket. Go ahead real quick. Put something on it real quick. We certainly would appreciate it. So we thank you all so much. We'll be back in the space on Saturday. On Saturday. Make sure you get connected. I'm going to give my co-host the last word. Go ahead and talk to the people.
I hope you have a really good night tonight. Make sure you say your prayers. You pray for me, I pray for you.
Ooh, it's been a long